Hello everyone, it's Bernina Jeff at High Fashion Sewing Machines in Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm not an employee of Bernina of America, but I have a dealership here in Western Colorado, and I like to do videos to help people learn their sewing machines better and be able to keep them running at tip-top shape. So today I'm going to do a lesson on how to do buttonholes on a Bernina. I love the buttonhole system that Bernina has. I even know the guy, his name's Gregor, that invented the buttonhole foot. It's a 3A buttonhole foot, and it works off of a light system that reads how many stitches one way, so it puts the same number of stitches the other way. So you get a balanced buttonhole with this guy. It comes with every Bernina machine basically. So I'm going to show you the basic method of sewing a buttonhole. I'm going to show you how to do buttonholes on fussy fabric, like 2 to 4 layers of a polar fleece. And then also, a lot of times you're doing a buttonhole and you've got 6 or 7 layers of seams and stuff. There's a fabric feed compensator that will go over these bumps and still make a perfect buttonhole. I get people are trying to do a really nice suit or something out of wool and they can't get the buttonholes to work right. So here's the tips for how to do that. First off, let's just do a basic buttonhole. The buttonhole foot is a 3A foot. The easiest way to get it in is come in at a 45-degree angle, get it on the post, and just latch it down. It's that easy. Now, you should pre-fill that hole. You can do it that way. If you think ahead, you can put the foot right through the needle and then pull your thread through that foot hole and put the 3A foot on that way. Now it's pre-feeded through that little hole. All right, so we're just going to do a basic little buttonhole on regular cotton. Now if you want a buttonhole to work out perfect, I better not use those. Those might be somebody's thing. Let me find a piece of fabric here in a second. All right. So a lot of times you have 2 layers of fabric, and when you do a buttonhole, it kind of crunches up to whatever else. I recommend putting a piece of stabilizer on the back, a tearaway, and then tear it away afterwards. So show you without the tearaway stabilizer. Now, I've got the foot on, but I don't have the buttonhole selected. So we're going to go into our buttonhole menu. The basic buttonholes are number 51. And it'll default to just a pre-sized one. To make a buttonhole any size you want, we're going to touch the circle I. This is your stitch settings, and it's going to default at 16.0 millimeters. Touch that. Now you put your button right onto this circle and dial up the size button you want. So I want it that size of my thumb. And the machine will compensate for the normal thickness of a button, and all we got to do is put the foot down and hit start. And if I just hit start, it tells me I have to select the right foot. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select the 3A foot. 3A foot. The machine is protecting itself. It's somewhat of a nuisance sometimes, but remember, it's protecting. You're not going to break your machine if you follow its direction. So now I'm just going to hit start. I like to hit the start stop button on buttonholes because it will just automatically stop when it's done. I don't have to worry about the foot controller, and it's counted the stitches one direction, and it's going to go back and do the same number of stitches the other direction and stop. I hit my cut button and take a look at the buttonhole. Now it's not very stable, it's a little wrinkly. If I had a stabilizer underneath there, it would work a lot better. Now I also want to show you a piece that Bernina sells. They sell this buttonhole cutter. It's a nice little accessory, and they sell the little block. So you put this razor sharp piece of metal on there, and it will cut right through, and we have our buttonhole opened up. I sell these guys too on my Shopify account. So that's just plain fabric. If you get fussy fabric like a polar fleece or polar fleece where you have 2 layers and then 4 layers, you're going to need an adapter or an accessory, and that's what this guy is. Bernina sells this. It's called a fabric feed compensator. So it holds the fabric between 2 layers of metal so it will feed evenly. Now I'm going to show you how to put this on the machine. You put it on the back part of the buttonhole first, and then you slide it on, and it snaps in there. Now I can slide, let's do 3 layers of this polar fleece. So it's going to be a real fussy sort of buttonhole. So I'm putting this polar fleece between the 2 layers of metal because it will sandwich that fabric and will feed the fabric perfectly for that size of buttonhole. Now, I'm also going to modify the buttonhole. I don't know too many companies that have this modification option. So I'm going to go to my circle eye. I can change the slit size in the middle of that. So I'm going to hit this 0.06. That's my slit width adjustment. Again, if I didn't know what that icon meant, I hit my question mark first, touch that icon. Buttonhole slit width. You can touch that to change it from 0.1 to 2 millimeters. I'm going to make this a 2 millimeter slit width. I just turn my dial to 2 millimeters and it changes it right there. Now I'm also going to go back to my buttonhole. Now it took away from the width of my beads, so I'm going to increase the width of my beads again to be really wide so it will be nice and sturdy. So you do that with your multifunction knobs, the top knob. Now again, I'm just going to push my button and it'll make the buttonhole all by itself. It will stop with the needle up when it's done, and you'll have a perfect buttonhole every time. And you'll see with this fabric compensation tool that you will have no stretches and everything's going to be exactly on the right place. All right, hit the cut button, and there's your buttonhole. The beads meet exactly right. You actually can make the beads denser or less dense by your stitch length. Now I'm going to use my cutter tool, and I can feel it cut through 3 layers of polar fleece. And buttonholes are not just for buttons. You can put drawstrings through them. You can use them as decorations. A lot of uses for buttonholes besides just buttons. Now, let's say you have a less fussy fabric, like 1 layer of polar fleece. So I'm going to remove my tool. And this is the original fabric compensator that Bernina had. It goes on the feed dogs. You put the fabric on top of it. And then you want to line up your foot. I'm just going to drop my foot on it, make sure it lines up. It didn't line up. I'm going to raise my foot. Okay, I should maybe read the instructions on this. I'm pretty sure this is how it works, but you know, guys, and instructions. Okay, so now I'm going to lift it up. There we go. That foot's got to fit right in between the edges of that. Now it's going to go ahead and make a buttonhole based upon, whoops, I didn't tighten my needle up tight enough, so it slipped out of the holder. And it's bent. You get the point. I'm not going to go ahead and make this video longer just to change that. So I sell these 2 compensation accessories on my Shopify. So you can go to bernina-jeff.myshopify.com and order them there, or you can call up the shop at 970-256-1293. Sometimes I even answer the phone. Or you can email me at jpvlefty@aol.com, or on my website has links and such, and it's www.hifashiongjj.com. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.